It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Jen Cohen as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives in Yavapai County. And now, here's today's Countywide.
Hello and welcome to Countywide. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm your host, Jennifer Cohen. Today we are talking about the Rotary Youth Exchange Scholarship Program, a really incredible program for foreign exchange students and for students from Arizona that can get out and experience other countries. It's really awesome. Today we have with us Machel Considine. She's a Rotarian and a committee member for District 5495. We also have an inbound exchange student from Belgium with us. His name is Tristan de Meyere. Thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.
This is exciting. What a neat program.
It is awesome.
I didn't know we had a local program for this. I figured it was a national thing and it wasn't available in Arizona. So Machel, this is really cool to find out our local Rotary does this.
Yes.
So tell us about the Rotary Youth Exchange Scholarship Program as it pertains to here.
In Arizona, we typically send around between 12 and 15 students a year. We send them out and we bring them back in. So it's a reciprocal arrangement where we would trade with one country to another. And the whole purpose of that is to promote peace and goodwill. And Rotary is a service organization worldwide that is over 2.1 million people. But this exchange program started in 1929 in Denmark, unofficially, and then it became incorporated in the early 60s. So it has been far and beyond the best thing for me, for Tristan. We're both youth exchange students with Rotary, and we send out annually about 9,000 students from the U.S. or across the world. So 9,000.
9,000 students exchange throughout the world every year.
We're the largest youth exchange scholarship throughout the world.
Wow. Now, when you say scholarship, what do you mean by that? Are they funded?
Partially. The student will be responsible for their airfare. They're also responsible for insurance, passport, visa, little emergency fund, but then the students are hosted in a family, sometimes a Rotarian family, sometimes not, and they get a monthly stipend. So typically it's around $100 US. Then that's a monthly item that the local Rotary Club will pay them, and they get to use that for their whatever travel, whatever incidentals, having fun, that kind of a thing. Then the other portion is just paid. It varies by country, so the other portion depends on what your airfare would cost. So if you're going to, let's say, Mexico, it wouldn't be as much as if you were going to Australia.
Certainly. Yeah, certainly. Now, the student has to qualify for this.
Yes.
Machel, it's not just anybody.
Yes.
What kind of experience do they have to go through to qualify for one of these scholarships?
I think most of all, you have to be interested in youth exchange. If it's not the student's idea, it's not going to be a plan. They need to be pretty well-rounded. They don't have to be the top of their class, but they do need to be interested in their studies, and they need to be interested in the foreign countries of the world. They also would be expected to be energetic about learning about Rotary and Rotary scholarship. They would need to be willing to talk to people, and being a little outgoing helps, but introversion doesn't stop a student from going. Frequently they find their voice when they're overseas.
Wow. Excellent. That's really cool. Now, great website. If you want to check it out, the Rotary Youth Exchange Scholarship Program, go to ry5495.org. That's the website. You're going to see all kinds of information that you need there. Of course, you can give them a call at 602-469-1293. That's also a number if you want some information at any time. You go, oh my gosh, I need to know that. You can look it up by going there. So it's just such a great program that I've known about for years because my family was involved. Now, Machel, did I hear you say you yourself had been an exchange student?
Yes. Yes.
Wow. What country did you go to?
I went to South Africa.
South Africa. How interesting.
It was fascinating. It was during the time of apartheid, so that tells you how old I am. But it was eye-opening, and I still have relationship with families there and my Rotary counselor. And I saw them, we were there 10 years ago, but I've been back 5 times.
Wow. That's great. So you're building lasting friendships
Yes.
and family. And Tristan, how's your experience been?
I've been here for 4 months, and for now it's perfect. I've met so many friends, so many things. It's just a great time. I think that if you can do it, each student should do it, because you just learn a new culture, meet new friends, and I myself have met some exchange students in my country before coming here, so I knew about the program because my father was himself an exchange student.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
In the 90s. So it's a really nice program, and Rotary is really, it's not difficult to be an exchange student. You just have to be willing to go there. And I've known some students who were really shy, and after their exchange, they grew more confident and independent, and I think that's a wonderful exchange.
I bet. Now, what year of high school are you in?
I'm a senior. Actually, I already graduated from high school in Belgium, so I would be in college if I stayed in my country now, but I chose to come here and experience a new country.
Well, that's fantastic. What a great thing. Wow, it's neat. There's so much experience in life that comes forward with this. Now, there's 2 types. There's long-term and short-term.
Yes.
Machel, can you explain the difference between those 2?
A long term would be typically 11 months. Your visa will expire short of that time, so 365 days. It will be, so generally the students stay for 11 months. The short-term exchange is only a 4-week to an 8-week program. It depends on how the exchange is arranged, and it is always in the summertime. It is more family to family within a Rotary district. So for instance, if your daughter wanted to go on a summer exchange, she would be interviewed and follow the same procedures as the Outbounds for long term, and then they would exchange with a family in a foreign country, and that student would come here after the one student would come, then the other student would go. So they not together at the same time.
Huh. Wow. Well, that's cool. So it's family to family.
Right.
For the short term. Now, for the long term, does that require an exchange as well?
It is country to country in the long term. So for instance, we sent someone, and I don't know who it is, that went to his in Belgium, but it is within this Rotary district. So it's the northern half of like Casa Grande North, from east to west, and someone in our district has gone to Belgium for his to meet with that arrangement.
So it really is an exchange.
It's totally reciprocal.
Wow, how interesting is that? And it sounds like it's relatively affordable for all students. It doesn't.
It is.
It doesn't require major affluence.
We had a student. I don't know exactly how long ago. I believe it was just a year or 2 ago, who was not able to afford a whole lot. His family had some financial difficulties. He set his mind to go. He raised money. He had a job. He raised money while he was in high school, and he funded his entire trip himself. He saved for a whole year, and he made it.
So it can be done.
So it can be done.
That's fantastic. All right, make sure you go to RY5495.org. That is the website you're going to check out. Go to there and give them a call at 602-469-1293. We've been talking with the inbound exchange student from Belgium. We have Tristan de Meyere, and we also talked to Machel Considine, the Rotarian and District 5495 committee member. We're going to take a really quick break, and we'll be back with an outbound student. So don't go away. We've got more Countywide coming at you.
This is Bruce Morrow, Transportation Manager for Cottonwood Area Transit. Remember, we cover the entire Verde Valley and Sedona. Cottonwood Area Transit has you covered wherever you want to ride in the Verde Valley, all day, every day. Take Cottonwood Area Transit through Clarkdale, Verde Village, and from 26 locations in Cottonwood. With Verde Links, it's a quick and easy trip to Sedona every day. Don't forget our connectors to Camp Verde. Visit cottonwoodaz.gov for Cottonwood Area Transit and take a seat. Let's go ride.
How I define making? In the broadest possible terms, it is making something extant in the world that didn't exist. Everybody who's ever made anything is bringing something into fruition for a reason. And that act in and of itself makes us stewards of our culture. It's something that we're talking about. It's a response. Actually, it's telling a story. That's really what it is. And I include everything that could be made: painting, sculpture, welding, all of that.
Yellow is positive.
When a kid gets their hands on the world and learns that they can make their fantasy play, that they can make their reality, that's power. And as far as I'm concerned, everyone should feel that kind of power. There we go. If there's something that interests you to bring into the world, that's fantastic. Go figure out how to do it. Go tell your own story. There it is. And so I want to know why you make. Let's go.
Share your own Why I Make story today. Visit whyimake.org.
150 over 90.
180 over 111.
160 over 110. I had a stroke.
This is what high blood pressure looks like. You might not feel its symptoms, but the results from a stroke are far from invisible or silent. If you've come off your treatment plan, get back on it, or talk with your doctor to create an exercise, diet, and medication plan that works for you. Go to loweryourhbp.org.
If I would have followed a treatment plan, I would not be in this situation.
Welcome back to Countywide. I'm Jennifer Cohen. We're here with Machel Considine. She's a community member and a Rotarian for the Rotary Youth Exchange Scholarship Program. That's what we're talking about. Now we have with us Leo Thull. He's an Outbound student. It's so awesome. In Arizona, Flagstaff.
Yep.
And you're going where, Leo?
So it's not determined yet, but I gave my Rotary district a top list of my 5 preferred countries, and out of those they'll choose for me.
Excellent. Okay, what's the top 5?
Netherlands, France, Belgium, Germany, and Japan.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Great choices.
Yeah.
Must be hard to narrow it down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how interesting is it that it's kind of a surprise, Machel? How does that work? Where out of the 5 that gets chosen because of the exchange, I bet there's a lot.
We try to match the student with the country where we think that they will succeed the best, but we also work very hard to make it in the top 2 choices. So it just depends on the student. But if we have a student that thinks they want to go to Taiwan, absolutely, we'll do our best. But and that's what they want.
Yes.
If they think maybe it's their second choice or maybe it's their third choice, and you give them say, well, we really think you might work with Taiwan, then they, oh, okay, maybe, and that's why being open-minded, we frequently say that a student needs to be like a rubber band.
Yes.
You be flexible and you can pop and twist and you just be flexible. And that really, the open-mindedness really helps.
Oh, that's interesting. The top 5, and then somehow that gets chosen. Huh. So, Leo, tell us about how it was that you decided you wanted to be part of this.
Well, one of my really good friends actually went on exchange, and he loved it. And he came back with fluent in a different language, German actually.
Wow.
So I decided I really wanted to be a part of it, and learn a new culture and a new language.
That's fantastic. Once your country is chosen, when would you ship out?
I believe August, so at the end of this summer.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. And then you'll be in what grade?
I'll be a junior.
A junior.
On my
Excellent.
exchange. Yeah.
Excellent. How cool. Long term or short term?
Long term, so 11 months, yeah.
Excellent. Wow. Which is more popular, Machel, the long term or the short term?
Historically, it's been the long term because that's been the longest program we've had with Rotary. But the short term exchange came about just in the last 2 decades, maybe, maybe just 10 years. And so it's rapidly picking up. And we are very excited in this district, 5495, to be able to send short-term and long-term because it offers 2 different perspectives.
Really, it does. Yeah, that's because I was unaware of the short term. I just knew it was the long term version. So that's great. Now, what kind of student would you say, Machel? I know that you said flexible and willingness to learn and be open to other countries. But if there's someone sitting out there thinking, "Ooh, this could be for me," or a parent, maybe this is for my child, what would you say to them so that they could go, "Yes, this will work for them," or "I'm not so sure they're ready for that yet"?
I think most is a willingness to learn. That is, to me, is the most crucial part, because if you're willing to learn, you can become open-minded, you can learn to be flexible. It helps if you have it, but willing to learn really, to me, is the key.
Sure. And of course the excitement about other countries, which I can see you have, Leo.
Thank you.
You're like, oh, I can go here, I can go here, I can go here. I can go. And how's your mom with that, with you going away for a year?
I mean, of course, I'll be missed, but they're super excited for me, and they've helped me out a lot, and I'm really grateful for that.
Oh, I bet. Now, the application process to get involved, there's a little bit involved to that.
A little bit.
Yeah. Does it require grades? Does it require good grades?
Not necessarily. You know, you need to probably be at least a C average, maybe a C plus.
Sure.
But there's a student that is going outbound, Leo would not get any credit unless he has made specific arrangements with his high school for credit. And sometimes it doesn't even work out when you try to get that certification. However, when you go into a university, if you're choosing to go into a university, you are looked at twice because you've been on a foreign exchange. You have been willing to try new things. It shows your initiative. It shows your desire to learn. It shows that you are driven and committed to something very much bigger than yourself. But it also would be able to, frequently, universities give foreign language credit because as you know, in the U.S., not a lot of people learn a second language fluently. In fact, it's generally a year or two in high school, and that's it. So to come home from an exchange with a foreign language is phenomenal, and you'll get that credit in university usually.
Oh, very good. And I would think in the future, you know, corporations are a big company, but look at you, Leo, and say, oh, wow, look at this. He spent a year in Germany. Oh, yeah, that's the guy we want. And here you've gotten that out of the way, and you've been a junior. Most people are like, go to college, do all that stuff, and study. The total immersion thing has got to work really well with the learning of the language and the culture, and to broaden the horizons, which you know, as Americans, we can use that. We can use a little broader horizon, I think. So, and out of the countries, how many countries are included? Who's involved in this program?
You know, it depends year to year. I think the most we've exchanged with has been 26 different countries. But it becomes, what happens is our district officers go to trainings. NAEN is a North American Youth Exchange Network, frequently that we are involved in, that they have a yearly conference, and there's between 300 and 500, 600 people there. Those are all youth exchange officers from across the world. And you get to network, you get to talk, you exchange cards, information, and they say, you know what, you've never been to Romania. How about taking my card and maybe you can exchange with us this year? Or maybe we'd like to go to the Philippines and meet someone from the Philippines and get their information. So it just depends on how much a person can meet other people from those conferences. And then, of course, there's always Rotary International Convention that is every year, and they have a pre-youth exchange conference, and that's where all the leaders meet there too.
Oh, wow. So does it help to be a Rotary member?
Well, I like to think so. Our motto is service above self. So people that are driven to serve in the community, to help in the local community, very much local community driven. And then the international portion, to me, is very close to my heart because of being an exchange student. But if you would like to join and learn more about Rotary, just Rotary.org, and you can find out if there's a club near you to get involved with. And of course, I think it's fun for the Rotarians to meet all these students that are anxious and willing to go out.
Yeah, it is.
To get to know them, and we really enjoy that.
Well, that's awesome. So if you want more information about the Rotary Club in your area, go to Rotary.org, very, very simple. And if you want more information about the Rotary Youth Exchange Program, go to ride5495.org. That'll get you information there. We've got to take another quick break, but we'll be right back with more Countywide, so don't go away.
It appears these hot ashes are about to be dumped, which could possibly start a wildfire. How will Smokey deal with such a hot situation? The garden hose defense. Next, a thorough stir. Then another spray. And finally, feeling if the ashes are cool.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, yes, the selfie. A ritual practiced so frequently with this tribe, but not so much by Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Being prepared is a part of who you are, but it's especially important in the case of a disaster. Be informed about possible emergencies in your area. Make a plan that covers where you'll go in an emergency. Build a kit with the things you need to survive. There's no one more capable of planning for your situation than you. Start your plan today. Go to ready.gov/myplan.
And welcome back to Countywide. Just a few seconds left. We're talking with Machel Considine. She is a committee member and a Rotarian. We're talking about the Rotary Youth Exchange Scholarship Program. We have with us Leo Thull. He's an Outbound exchange student heading to one of his top 5 favorite countries. That's awesome. Our Flagstaff, Arizona person. I love that. That's so great, our local guy. So let's talk about, we've talked about the students. Let's talk about the host families, the families that are receiving these students. What does that involve?
Host family is typically a 3-month excursion with a student, and you're not going to have them be your boss. You, as a host family, are going to treat that student in your family as you would your child, your family member, your teenager. And it means if you take eggs into your house from your chickens, the student can go collect eggs. If you are racetrack person, you can go take that student to the racetracks. You can invite them to your church. You invite them to community events. They live with you and they do their own laundry and they cook their meals if they want to, or if you would like them to help you. It is not in any way them to be served at all. And in fact, it works better when you include them in your family, because then they feel like they belong and they have a place to rest and fall. And because it's stressful in the beginning to be an exchange student, especially not knowing the language very well. So it does take commitment. But the host family experience is always helped by the Rotarians. The local Rotary Club works together with you to help support you. And you're never alone, and it's only a 3 to 4 month commitment. So you know ahead of time what you're getting yourself into.
Oh, well, there you go. That sounds like fun. I know my relatives did it, and they always just absolutely loved it. Now, quickly, does it work? So if Leo ends up in Germany, does that German exchange student then come to Leo's family's house?
No.
Is it direct?
No,
it's not
it is
a direct line, but it is. There's always an exchange house.
There will be someone from Germany, from that district, maybe not the town in Germany that he will go to, but it would be someone in that district. So say a student comes from Germany, they'll go to maybe Chandler, where I live, and he will go to his city.
Okay. Now, as far as the cost goes, you mentioned during the break that the Rotary Youth Exchange Program is less expensive than some others.
Yes.
Yeah, we've only got a few minutes left.
It is less expensive. It's the least expensive, actually, and that's because the local Rotarians do the hosting, or the family, the friends of the Rotarians do the hosting, and there's not a charge. You don't have to pay extra to have people direct the program. This is a volunteer organization, and we volunteer to do the work to get an exchange student.
Wow. So that makes a huge difference
It
because
does.
there's a lot of money involved in that
Right.
process.
Right.
And since it's on a volunteer base.
Right.
Wow.
And every Rotarian believes in service above self. So they are committed in a different way.
Okay.
Than just to a pay for
That's
exchange.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Michelle.
You're
thank
welcome.
you for the work you're doing with the
Thank
Rotary.
you.
And good luck on your travels, Leo.
Thank you very much.
It's going to be awesome. Okay, go to rye5495.org. Check out Rotary.org. That's all the time we have for Countywide. We'll see you again next time.